imagine being 40, imagine being 50 as
Kill me.
Corp.
Kill me.
Kill me. I'm done. Just get me out of here.
Throw me into a volcano, please.
No. On the Big Island. That's where
the Big
you
Island.
Go, right?
Yeah, Mauna Kea. Throw me into Mauna Kea, and we're good.
Welcome to It Gets Late Early. Today I have with me someone who I would call more of like a cultural icon, perhaps, like of the millennial generation. Some of you will actually know him quite well by just looking at that, little logo behind his head / his face. There we go. But I have Ross Pomerantz, also known as Corporate Bro or Corp, with me here today. And if you don't know who he is, well, that's on you. But we're going to go ahead and welcome him and let him tell us a little bit about who he is, what he does, who Corp is, why we are here today, and what is in store for the future. So walk us through a little bit about you, if you can.
A little bit about me. Oh, God, you're asking a salesperson to talk a little bit about themselves.
Yeah,
we need a lot of time for this. Who am I? I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, originally. Born and mostly raised. I'm a huge Atlanta sports, or I should say Atlanta Braves fan. Growing up, I thought I wanted to be a baseball player. I still want to be a baseball player. I was a baseball player. I didn't make it to the major leagues. I got stuck in the lowest level of minor leagues. Pitched in college, had no idea what I wanted to do. Like every washed up athlete, I ended up in a sales role. So that's kind of, I guess, where my life really began. I should say. I started making videos when I was working at Oracle as we discussed earlier, a business development consultant. I was a consultant of sorts. It turned out I didn't know what that meant on the way in. Turned out it was sales, and the rest is kind of history. That's where I started making videos in I want to say I probably started making them in 2013-ish, like for fun, back when Vine was a thing.
Gosh.
But with no intent.
R.I.P.
RIP, bless it. I wish you were here. Now it's TikTok. So for worse or for much worse.
I'm going to say worse for sure. Yeah,
definitely for worse. I hate that. And so, I kind of started taking it seriously in 2015. That was when it all kind of shifted for me. That was the first time I got evidence, I should say, that what I was doing resonated with people other than like my team and my friends. I was always the kid, grew up making home movies, and no one ever pushed me towards comedy or pushed me towards creative stuff. I just kind of grew up thinking if I didn't make it in baseball, I'd be successful in business. And I didn't know what that meant. That was just kind of what I thought. So over time, I realized sales is kind of the same across the world, whether it doesn't matter the language, the industry, the geo. It's like everybody hates marketing. Everybody thinks their quota is too high. Everyone thinks the product sucks, and everyone wants to make a bunch of money, like universal. So I kind of stumbled into it. People asked me if I had this grandmaster plan to be an influencer, and I fucking can't stand the word influencer.
It's really bad.
It's awful. It's a derogatory term to me. The I word. And so that's it. I mean, since then, been making content, trying to make at least one video a week. I've probably missed a handful of weeks. Every now and then I'll repost something just because new people haven't seen the old stuff, and that's it. No, I do a lot of other shit too, but that's the short version in a mere 3.5 minutes.
I love it. I'm also curious to go back in time a little bit and hear a little bit more about your time at Oracle versus, I think it was Glassdoor. Is that what in your early videos? Yeah. I want to hear about the sales cultures at both of those organizations.
Yeah. I mean, Oracle, that's where I got that was my first real tech sales job. I had done like a real estate kind of apartment leasing type thing before that, but Oracle was my first venture into tech, and Oracle has a reputation, a lot of stereotypes, and they're all true. I think Oracle is a bit of a meat grinder. I was in a building, I was in HQ, which was Redwood Shores down south of San Francisco. And we were in this building called Twin Dolphin. That was the street was Twin Dolphin. You see these beautiful database buildings from the freeway. You're like, damn, that campus looks nice. But what you don't realize is where all the salespeople are they're in the shithole across the street called Twin Dolphin. It's like a frat house. It smells like coffee and shit and burritos, like breakfast burritos. And it was a great time, honestly. I'm early in my career. I'm in a building with 3,000 salespeople.
Yeah, right?
But everybody in that building was 20 to 40 years old.
Yeah.
It was actually younger than you'd think. This was they had this program called Class of, where all the recent college grads from Cal Poly and UCSB and other places would just get fed into this thing. And you just see them churn and burn every now and then. A few desks would empty up. You're like, yeah, they're gone.
Got pipped.
Yeah, they got paid. They just quit. They're like, sales ain't for me. They last like 2
I'm
months.
out.
Yeah, and they just bail, and you kind of see people weed themselves out. But it was fun. I mean, like, that's where I started doing corporate bro. It was just weird to look around and be like, how are these people who don't understand this technology like closing $1 million deals with Fortune 100 companies?
Pretty
It was a
awesome.
weird world.
Good to be.
And party hard and work hard, and everybody kind of was bonded under the hatred for what they do and themselves. Like
Yeah,
nothing bonds people like shared misery.
so true.
So
Misery loves company.
it does, and that's where a lot of the inspiration for my videos came from was that time at Oracle, which I wouldn't trade. I think like it's like I sound like a boomer. It's like, oh, it's who made me who I am. Like everyone should go through that. Everyone should have to go through that. And they should have to go through that. I think Glassdoor was a lot less intense. Glassdoor was like the epitome of one of those progressive tech companies that like it was very chill. It was very fun. Some of my best friends are from there. It wasn't like a high earner place. Like I went from selling like a single seat, a single proc of database was $50K. Like average deal size at Glassdoor was like $5K. Like, and you had to have 2 procs of database. So it was $100K basically. That's what it was. And so I admittedly felt like there was a step in between there. And there's a reason I went to Glassdoor. I left Oracle to go to a startup where I like doubled my base and doubled my depression I tripled my depression. Like I was miserable. I had to be in the office at 7 a.m. I was living in the city. It was in Mountain View. I was commuting an hour and a half through darkness every morning. Like people complain about their commutes at like 20 minutes. Like I was spending 3 hours in the car every day.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Like, and I'm not to say like that's what we're supposed to go back to. I would never wish that on anyone, but I left there because I was so miserable. I took a 40% pay cut to go to Glassdoor, and my mental health came. Like I was working out every day at Glass. Like I could work out in the middle of the day at Glassdoor. Like everyone there was cool. Yeah, it was like the catered food, but I wasn't making the same kind of money. I admittedly like I got bored there fairly quickly. I truly believe, and this isn't like a knock on Glassdoor. This is more just like the reality. Like a high schooler could have done the job I was doing. We were selling ads. Like we were selling, hey, you put this amount of money in, like there's a bidding system and like you get clicks. Like that's how it works. Like Salesforce. Oracle, there's 40 people on my team, like sales engineers, architects, like different salespeople selling different products. It's highly, highly technical. And so those sales processes, 18 months. I was BDR, and then I went into like, I was going into cloud. Yeah, cloud AE. I should have stayed. One of my biggest regrets was not staying at Oracle, which I feel like blows a lot of people's minds. That was right at the beginning of the cloud movement. And cloud was huge.
You were teaching people what cloud was.
Yeah.
I remember those days. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. But it was like you were getting comp 7x on every dollar you sold in cloud. And this is when the world was shifting to cloud. Like this is when AWS was starting to rise. Like, Azure, Microsoft Azure was starting to rise. And like the money there was absolutely ridiculous.
It's bananas.
And I wish I had stayed there. I just kind of got under in fact, the reason I left was because my manager, the guy who hired me in the first place, was leaving. He's like, yo, come with me. I'm going to get you the promotion. I'm going to get you the money. We'll do all this thing.
That happens all the time.
He was gone probably like 4 months after me. We still laugh about, like, he's still a good friend of mine. We still laugh about like, God, remember that place? It was fucking sucked.
Tales all this time. Tales all this time. Yeah.
But Glassdoor was great. Glassdoor was chill, made less money, but my life was just better. I was healthier. I was all across the board, kind of better spot. To go back all the way to our original conversation, like Glassdoor, we always were sold, we're being paid. Glassdoor, pay transparency, right? Like we knew we were getting paid 15 to 20% under market. We knew that, but we're like, okay, we're like work-life balance. We're gonna IPO. They were selling us on the IPO pretty hard. Glassdoor was blowing up. Like we really believed that. And then I left right after we got acquired by Recruit, which is a PE firm, which is basically a death sentence for any company getting acquired by a PE firm.
Been there, yeah.
And I think like I ended up walking away with like $5,000 on top of
sounds about
everything.
Right. Life-changing money that you were working for.
It was like $10,000, tax 40%, maybe $6,000. So like all that time, 3 years, 3.5 years for that. Yeah. So that was a harsh lesson to learn. I'm a little bitter about it, but like I can't knock the fact that my life was pretty great at the time.
At least there's that. And did you feel like there were people like not 20 years old there too, or was it pretty young? Like
I was 20 years old. So I mean, I was 25.
Nothing wrong with being 20. It's pretty great.
No, those are the best times. You could drink a lot. You could drink a lot and be okay.
Just fine. Yeah.
Yeah. And so in that regard, it was a younger crowd. Like Oracle still had so many layers of people, and the field sales guys were all in their 50s, 60s. Like old school guys. But the inside AE group was primarily young, 20s, in their 20s. So Glassdoor across the board was younger by a lot. So, it was the classic progressive tech company with the game room and the catered lunch and like beautiful office. But it also gave me space to create. Like the biggest thing is it gave me space and time to make stuff.
Yeah. Like you were actually recording your videos there, right?
Yes. Yeah. I got in trouble eventually for doing it. People kind of found out about it and it kind of became a thing. And then they were like, actually, oh, this is fine. You can do this. Just sign this waiver that you're not going to sue us. And everyone who's acting in it has to sign a waiver and you're not going to disparage us. Yeah, of course. I never outed the companies I was working for at the time. Like the number one Google search, where does Corporate Bro work? Corporate Bro, real. This is before people knew my real name. Yeah. I didn't have my real name out there because I didn't want to lose my job.
That's fair. That's fair. I did not have
one day they banned me.
Yeah. But what you just said totally confirmed what my suspicions were, which is like essentially I need to get myself into more of like an enterprise type company where they actually have like 50s and 60-year-old people in the ranks and they're doing well and like killing it.
Yeah.
So
if you're going to sell something expensive. That's what I'll say.
Right.
Like
100%.
Just, it's more technical. There's definitely a larger barrier to entry. It's going to take a little more ramp period for you to start closing those deals and making the money. But to me, that's where I would go if I was going back in for sure.
That makes a ton of sense. So tell me now, I watched Sales Are Dope. It was dope. It was really awesome. And
Thanks.
The production was super good. And I want to hear a little bit more about how you decided to go into that realm and what that whole experience was like. And, tell me what you learned. Tell me what you're excited about coming out of that.
Sure. Yeah. So for those who don't know, Sales Are Dope is an 8-part, we'll call it a web show, but it's produced at the quality of a TV show. And I say produced at the quality of a TV show doesn't mean the acting or writing was the level of TV show. The production value, the technical pieces, it could go on Netflix tomorrow with zero work. So it was shot at that level, and I wanted it to be as good as it possibly could. And so that's what we did. Sales Are Dope was a series that I've been kicking around probably for 4 years or something. I wrote and shot a pilot when I was in business school. That was so fucking bad, but it was a really expensive learning experience and something I couldn't have done without going through the effort and time to write something and shoot something and see what it looks like. You can imagine the way actors, you can imagine the writing because you're writing it in your voice and you're writing it and you read it the way you want it to be read. But then when you put it in front of actors, like they take their own spin on it and like, that's how it's supposed to be. And it's cool to see things come to life. But this version of it, Sales Are Dope, the 8-part series that's out, that was just like a dream basically for a long time. I've wanted to move into longer form content. I want to be closer to TV and more traditional Hollywood comedy type stuff. That's like what I want to do, not stand up or not social media. I want to like write on TV shows and act in TV shows. That's like the dream. And so this was my opportunity to do that. Fuck it, just do it yourself. Like if no one else is going to give you a chance, do it yourself and see what you can learn and do. And, production took 5 weeks and then editing took a couple months. And, we realized, originally we were writing it to be 22-minute episodes, like network style shows. But then I was like, fuck, are we going to write 8 of these episodes and then shoot them? Like we don't have the budget or the time to get 8 episodes out there. Like if we're going to make a proof point, let's just take 3 of these, cut them up and put them out as like smaller episodes. So like, there's a million things I would fix. But there's a million things I'd fix. Like the pacing's a little shitty at times. It starts a little bit slow. We really start to hit our strides. And like, I would say like episode 6, 7, 8, which is good, I guess, for a final like 3 episodes. You want it to kind of get better as you go. But, you can kind of watch like the first 2 episodes. That was actually one single episode. 3, 4, 5 were one episode. 6, 7, 8 were actually one supposed to be standalone episode. So, there's a million things I would fix. There's a lot of things I want to do differently. But it was one of those things.
Feel that way though.
Totally.
Like there's no question that we're all our own worst critics. Like I thought it was freaking great. So
thanks
for what it's worth.
No, it's worth something. I'll take it. I appreciate it. So,
it was awesome. And you had a lot of good jokes strewn throughout where I was like, oh man, I got to get Corp's take on like getting old in tech because the 9/11 joke, for example, I was like spitting my drink out. I was laughing so hard. It was so good. So
that was a late addition. That was a late addition.
Yeah. It was a brilliant addition. And then there was like the like throwback to Hanson, which I mean, hilarious.
Yeah. There's some 90s or there's some like 90s kid or like millennial nostalgia in there for sure.
100%. And I, for one, like really, really appreciated that. So,
thanks.
But I knew that meant that like I was on to something with regard to like this being a cultural touch point. Like the ageism and age bias in tech is like a real thing. Like people are joking about it all the time. Like I was called a dino at 37. Like it's ridiculous. Like it's absurd.
37? You're 37?
Yeah, no, I'm 40. But I was called a dino at 37.
Wow, you're 40? Shit.
Mm-hmm. I know. I'm
congratulations. So yeah, no, you're old. You're old as shit, but I would not have known that. I would not have known that.
All right. Yeah, but I mean,
good work.
It just, thank you. It gets late early, like really was something that resonated. I was like, what the hell? Like, how is someone calling this? Like, he was kidding, obviously. I mean, I hope that's obvious, but he was kidding. But I was like, dude, people think that. And I looked around and I was like, wait, I am one of the oldest people here. That is insane.
Yeah.
Just like, we're the adults in the room. Kind of.
It's a thing. It's a thing. Yeah. And I think it's weird. I don't feel older at all. I mean, maybe my body hurts a little bit more than it normally does, but like, I don't feel old. I don't even feel culturally out of touch yet. I mean, maybe it's that I have to be aware of like what's happening on TikTok and like Gen Z, and like, I have to be kind of in that world. But it is interesting because I think a lot of us probably still and always will have imposter syndrome. It's like, what do I have to teach anyone? Like, what the fuck? Like, I haven't even been doing this that long, but wait a second. Yeah, I kind of have. Like, I have a lot of shit to say. I can teach a lot of people stuff. Yeah. So I don't know. I've always played younger. Like, I think I'm immature and I'm fine with it. I don't give a shit. That's kind of who I am. And so it works. But yeah, I mean, the age thing is real. Like, we had a character that we didn't end up putting in there who was supposed to be the like married with kids, like who like can't really party, who like always has to go do something. It was a dude. It was a dude. Okay. Like, yeah, it was a dude because I wasn't capable. It was two dudes writing this thing. Like I didn't feel like I could write a female perspective like particularly well. And that's another thing I would fix, like, and will fix at some point, is get a bigger writer's room.
Women, we have them. I mean, you had women in there.
We got women there. They're around. They're around. We got some diversity. Did you see them? Dude, they're everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everyone's like, not real. Too white. Or not white enough. Not white enough. Not white enough. I don't buy it.
Amazing.
But those are all things you got to like consider, right? And so it's like, you know, we wanted this character, but we
can't do everything. Is the other thing. You can't do everything, and it's like sometimes you just want to stay on your wheelhouse, and I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. And you did have other perspectives there too, so that's cool. But yeah,
well, it's funny. I still get harassed about it in my like sketches.
You do?
And I'm like, yeah, oh yeah. People are like, where's the representation? I'm like,
you're like, that's not what I do.
Bitch, and I say that nicely. Like this is my brother and my cousin. Like I'm getting friends and family who are just like around on a Saturday to come shoot these with me. I'm not hiring actors and like going through a casting process for like diversity on my sketches.
That is so
not
funny.
To say it's not important. That's not to diminish its importance, but like what I'm doing is like, yo, I'm making social media like content, like posts. Like you can't win.
I mean, you live in San Francisco. A person I know from San Francisco recently told me that there's like this furry thing, like furry movement. Have you heard of this thing? Like you identify not as a male or a female, but Ross is like, got my tail on behind me.
I was like, why do you think I'm sitting so upright? Yeah. No, I just graduated the triple XL tail, so whatever. It's been a long time. Been working on it. It takes practice. Yeah, I mean, like,
do furry in a skit for sure.
Yeah, like I mean, there's a bunch of weird shit here.
Yeah,
you know, we got the Folsom Street Fair, like people rolling out in leather, just lots of leather. There's weird shit everywhere.
Less weird to me though, like the furry. I can't really.
You should see these costumes.
A
lot of dicks.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, like there? Oh yeah. It's like
hanging?
Everything but the like just covering everything. It's I'm talking like executioner mask, like I'm talking like weird kinky shit that like I'm not writing it off. I'm saying I'll try anything once. Say what?
People are like bold enough to do it because you can't see their face behind the mask, kind of thing.
Oh, they'll do it with the mask off too. They don't give a shit. Yeah, it's just like thousands of people.
Wow. Sometimes I'm like, I've lived too long. What the hell? Wow.
We got kinks out here. We're not here to kink shame. It could be cool. Shit, I haven't tried it. I'm down to try it.
Everybody's welcome here.
Yeah. I mean, that's San Francisco in a nutshell. I mean, there's a bunch of weird shit here. I mean, you live in the Pac Northwest. Like,
yeah, I mean,
it's not Portland, but
it's close, but it's not. Yeah. I think we're like maybe one level up, whatever that means. I don't even know what that means, but
yeah, I would say one level up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Portland.
Yeah. Portland's interesting. But anyway, yeah. So where were we? We got off onto the furries topic.
Sorry, We were kink shaming.
That was my fault. No, you were talking about like having the various. Oh yeah, you were talking.
Representation in the sketches.
Yeah, representation in the sketches, and you were like, oh, we were gonna have a dude who like couldn't party anymore because he had a family. Was that not? Did Pfister have a family? I don't remember him saying it.
So he is technically married. We didn't really go into the backstory. Like that was another piece. Like we just couldn't expand on the backstories.
You don't have time. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have time. And so all these other things we want to do. We want to get into Mickey's backstory. We want to get into Pfister's backstory, even Travis's. Like we hinted at Travis's a little bit. Katie's backstory. Like, there's so many backstories that
so many good ones to explore.
Yeah. And it's hard because you want people to like the characters. And I've gotten comments, people like, I didn't like a single one of the characters. Like, fine. Like I get it. You know? No, I mean, like
I think that's more of a them problem. I would think.
Yeah, but I get where they're coming from.
You didn't get so into the weeds with them, you mean?
Yeah, which all they're doing is comparing us to major blockbuster shows, which like if you're putting us in that like realm and category, then we're probably worse. Like, like just a couple dudes trying to make a TV show. Like we have no Hollywood background. So I was just honored to be compared,
It was awesome. So anyway, I am happy that you guys pulled it off. I mean, it sounds like it was no small feat, and I thought it was really well written and really funny. And again, I loved some of those jokes so much. They definitely hit home for me as a geriatric millennial. It was huge. So, yeah.
You only got a few years left, so I'm glad you enjoyed something. I don't know if you'll be around for season 2.
The end
but
is here, I
yeah. We'll see.
It's so freaking weird. Like you said, I don't feel old at all, and yet suddenly I was like, "Wait, I'm a protected class now? Like what? What?
AARP, it's calling."
I know. Literally, I've gotten ads for AARP. I've gotten ads for, not joking, like right after I turned 40, I got an ad on like the Seattle Times or something, and it was like. It was like cremation services, and I was like, "Really? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, come on now! Like,
book now though. Lock in that deal. It's just a salesperson. It's just a marketing lead. You could be a lead. You could be a hot lead. Literally,
we're a hot lead.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, okay, I love to ask my guests how old they are, because I think that we should all I think we should own it. I think we should shout our age, which also kind of sounds like, shout your age sounds like shout your rage, which I also love because, both work for me. But,
do you know how old I am?
I don't know how old you are, but I'm guessing you're a millennial, right? Like me? We're same, but you're not 40, right? I'm older than you. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, sorry.
Correct.
Sorry. It's really cool, actually,
obviously.
Up here. It's really cool up here.
Obviously. I mean, look at us. I'm so fresh. I didn't shower. I'm like, I need a shave. Like, I just look homeless is kind of what I do, though. I do like the homeless look. I am 34.
Okay.
I'm 34.
Yeah. Young pup. Yeah. Yeah, but you're an 80s baby, right? Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, 89.
Yeah,
you last, okay. Last the Brohikins,
like Taylor Swift or something, right? Wasn't she 89, or was that just her album?
Is she 89?
I'm assuming that she
Swift 80. Is she 34?
I'm pretty sure, because why else would she name an album 1989? That doesn't make any sense.
That's true.
To me. It has to be like the year of her birth. Like, I'm putting the line and say like 1989.
Okay, she's 33. Yeah, she snuck in December 13th, 1989.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank God for the internet.
Why does she feel so much younger than me?
God.
Maybe it's just her angst. She just shows her angst all over the place.
It's the songwriting.
She's my height too. Didn't need to look at this. She's 5'11". That's tall. That is
really tall.
She's tall.
I'd love to be 5'11". No.
It's well. It's not all it's cracked up to be, I'll tell you that. Because every time you tell people, they're like, you're just...
like, oh yeah, 5'10", 5'8".
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, I should be saying I'm 6 feet tall. And if I said 6 feet tall, you're like, you're probably like 5'11". I should probably just say 6 feet tall.
I feel like you can't win.
Yeah, like I'm just going to tell everyone I'm 6 feet tall.
Can't freaking win. Okay, so Corp, you are still very far from protected class status, but like as you think about and
affluent white heterosexual male, what gives you that idea?
But one day you too, like everybody else, which is like the weird kind of gross beauty of all of this, it's perverse. Like we are all in this together. This is the one thing that unites us is, the longer we live, the more we will face this marginalization and this prejudice. It's like real. It's gonna be your first welcome. It's gonna be your first ism as a white dude, right?
Yeah, I cannot wait for my first ism. I'm stoked. I'm really excited.
Like, wait, what is this shit? Like,
exactly.
It's gonna be really good.
I mean, there's anti-Semitism, but I've actually never experienced any of that.
That's an ism for sure. That's
It's
one
an ism, but
I'm as waspy as they come. So I've not experienced it, but like, yeah, it's a thing. You can
it's
claim
a
that.
thing. It's out there.
Glad you haven't experienced it though. It's good.
Yeah. No, wait, what was the question? Cut out for a second there.
I said I'm glad you haven't experienced it though.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah,
would
of
suck.
course. That would
Yeah.
suck. Yeah, that would
It would
suck.
suck. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I look forward to my first ism. I can't wait to write about it. Probably
Yeah,
do like
yeah.
a book or something.
Yeah, you should. You should. Like,
My first
oh,
ism, 50 years
like,
old, you
oh
know?
my god. But it might start earlier. I don't know. Maybe not for you because you like kind of wisely moved out of tech and now you're kind of like, oh, you're also kind of doing stuff with Bravado, right? And Scratchpad and like you're doing like tech adjacent stuff and
Yeah,
working with tech companies but not within them, which I
correct.
think is like very much an admirable path, one such path that I might want to embark on similarly. But
Should
like
do it.
I guess this is my attempt. I don't know. We'll see what happens. If I choose to go back into tech, it'll 100% be the reason I get my next position.
Oh, yeah.
Because people will be like, look at us. We hired that old broad. We are so age inclusive.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We
She's
got
so fucking old. Like,
totally. So like walk me through. I know you're not there yet, and so this is all like just an imagination thing. But like, imagine being 40. Imagine being 50 as
kill me.
Corp.
Kill me.
Kill me. I'm
Kill
done.
me.
Just get me out of here.
Throw me into a volcano, please.
I'm out. On the Big Island. That's where
the Big Island,
go, right?
Yeah,
Mauna
Kea. Throw me into Mauna Kea, and we're good. Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't go that route, if you go like the more like embracing positive route, which like that's a choice, others a choice as well. But like, tell me, what do you as like the corp persona think about getting older, and then what do you as like you Ross think about getting?
I think arrogant here. I think
you won't get old.
No, I will. I think I play better old, actually. I think I will play better old. I think I've always found myself kind of in the, I'll call it influential / like leadership positions at a younger age where it was the imposter syndrome of like, I don't feel like old enough to be in this position. Like, why is it me? And it feels weird and almost inauthentic in certain ways. And I think that sort of, I know I said I was immature earlier, but I think there's like a level of self-awareness. Well, I was going to go back to maturity. I think it's just like self-awareness of like, this is how life is. Like, this is how it goes. And I think kind of the things like the mentorship positions I'm in, the like captainship positions I'm in, like it plays better as I get older for me, because I think the people will take it more seriously. I don't want to get older. Like, I still play competitive baseball. And like, we've got a 19-year-old on our team who's just very good. And I'm 34, and like the best players in the league now we're kind of over the hill. I mean, we're still in first place. We're still sick, but like, it's I'm starting for the first time, like even in business school playing pickup basketball. Like, I used to be the fast guy who could guard anyone. And I was just getting blown away by like these younger 20-year-old guys. And it was the first time I actually really felt my step was gone. Like there was nothing I could do. I could play intelligent. I was like, damn, like, there's nothing I can do right now. Like, this is the first time I really feel age, and it's fine. It's fine. Right. Like, I think that's I mean, it better be fine. Otherwise it's going to be rough. Every day is going to get more and more rough. I mean, I'm the oldest I've ever been right now. It's like,
I know.
So I don't know. I think there'll be a lot of things there. I don't think corporate bro works. Like, if we're going to take it back to like the topic here, I don't know if corporate bro, I've been trying to move away from the word bro, just generally speaking, for a million reasons. You can guess them all in tech. But I think there is something there that I can evolve to or switch to. And it may be even a little bit more on the serious side of things. But we'll see. I mean, I'm not looking for it. I don't want to quit baseball, but every year I get closer, and injuries, and I try to stay in as good a shape as I can to keep up. But like, it's harder and harder to keep up. It's just what it is, but that's fine.
That's fine. I mean, that's the thing though, with sports, it's like you have physical limitations and changes in your body and like breakdowns in muscles and bones or whatever. But so it makes sense that you have like a put out to pasture date that's like a little bit earlier than you would imagine, right? But when it comes to the workforce, it doesn't make any sense to me, where it's like,
I don't feel less sharp.
No, I feel better. Like, I'm so much better than I was like when I started out. It's just like way more confident, know what I'm doing, like have that self-worth and whatnot, and then can just go into a situation and be like, oh, I can do this. Whereas talk to me 15 years ago and I'd be like, oh, I don't know. What's this? It's just, it's so different. But it strikes me as so bizarre that like we have that parallel in tech. I think it's more acute than other industries. Like ageism is for sure a thing across all industries, and some are worse than others. But in tech, it's like this thing that shouldn't be. And I'm trying to like crack why it is. Like there's a reason you guys put those jokes into Sales or Dope. There's a reason you joke about turning 30 on Corp Bro. Like it's a thing. People, it's real.
No, it is a thing. And I think like you said, it's acutely obvious in tech. And I think there's a few reasons. It's one, they don't want to pay people more. They want to keep like a young kind of grind vibe around. People will work harder. Like you can push them more. They don't see the world for much more than like their job and like what they do on the weekend. Whereas most mature adults like have other shit they like to do and realize that their job isn't their whole identity. And that's how it goes. I do think leadership and experience is often underappreciated and can be a huge difference maker in tech and motivating people and like giving them perspective and wise words, whatever it may be, even almost catharsis and therapy to the younger folks who are like, why am I doing this? What is happening? You're just like, oh, you're finally asking the right questions. Like, so, I don't know. It is a problem. It's pervasive kind of all over the place. It depends on the role and what what you cost, and like there is business pieces to it. Not that they're right. They're not right. They're not like ethically right, I would say. But yeah, I mean it's a problem. I haven't given it much thought for myself, mostly because if my boss fires me. Well, also if my boss fires me, it's me firing me, and so like I don't have to like experience it too much. But I think about it. I think about like what does Corporate Bro look like in 10 years, and I'm like, it doesn't look like this.
It doesn't look like Corporate Bro.
I don't know. Yeah, it probably isn't Corporate Bro realistically. So I don't know where it goes, but it is very much in my mind, and why I feel a sense of urgency to get as much done now before it feels inauthentic and weird and I get too far away from the topic at hand.
Totally makes sense. It must be weird too, because I'm sure people completely conflate like who you are as Ross with Corporate Bro all the time. Like
all the time.
To you, right? And you probably have to like code switch into like, oh, I'm seeing someone like who recognizes me, and I have to be like, yeah, dude, like that thing that you do. What's it called? Scooping butter? Yeah,
scooping butter. Like, scooping butter. Yeah, scoop mad butter.
I'm not going to attempt that. I don't think I can scoop butter. But I mean, that must be kind of challenging. I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean that happens all the time. It's exactly what you said. Like people recognize me and they're like Corp on the street, and like it depends on who it is, and I'll throw them a little scoop. But yeah, it is interesting. Like people want to buy me shots, and it's like,
I bet they do.
And it's like, that's cool and nice of you. Yeah, like get some well whiskey, and I'm like, like get more. If I did Fireball recently because it was given to me, and I was like, oh fuck, like,
oh my god, yeah, Fireball. My Fireball days are way past.
All of a sudden, I was back at Oracle, blacking out at bar none, and like, amazing. But yeah, I think. And part of what I think a lot about too is like the brand of Ross versus Corp, and I want Corp is kind of like what I'm hoping to become, which is the combination of Ross and Corporate Bro. Like Corporate Bro is what a lot of people take me as. Ross is like what a lot of people don't know me as, and like the people who are close to me do. And then Corp is kind of like, what's the mature version? Like, well, let's take away the bro, right? And let's just be Corp. Like a lot of people call me Corp. I like the name. I think it's kind of synonymous and binds the two things that I've really focused on. And so, it's a matter of putting content. It's all a PR exercise. It's all just like consistently putting out content and the types of things that make people see Corp versus like the bro side and say, yeah, I'm the guy who plays Corporate Bro. Most people call me Corp. My name's Ross. My mom calls me Ross, but like, I play Corporate Bro. I play that ridiculous character. So
I love that.
People struggle with that for sure.
Yeah, no, it must be really super weird for you. I can only imagine.
Well, it's worse. Like you talk about the ageism. For me, it's more of the bro-ism. That's my main ism is companies, like they don't want to work with me. They get nervous. People who don't know who I am, they're like, we're not going to bring a guy named Corporate Bro in to speak. Really? Like, why would we do that?
Like, have you seen our latest DE&I thing? Like,
right.
We're not doing, yeah, totally.
Right. And it's hard because then if I can have a conversation with these people and they're like, oh, you're nothing like Corporate Bro. I'm like, yeah, no fucking shit. like I'm an actor. Like this is like all a persona. Like this is an online persona. I don't sit there and say everything I do on that is facts or even correct. Corporate Bro is in most ways like what you don't do. Like in so many ways, not like what
exactly.
you don't do. Or it's satire. Satire. Like satire. Like satire. It's like right over their head. So
Some of the most simple ones too are so fantastic. Like the one where you're walking down that hotel hallway and you're playing that like,
Oh yeah, Gavin DeGraw.
like
Yeah, yeah,
oh my god! After advising the CEO, blacked out the night before, I was
yeah,
dying.
yeah.
I was laughing so hard because we all know people who have done that. Like
I've done that. I've done that. I've done that.
Like, here's what you need to do. If I were running the business, if I were, yeah, that's freaking amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, I remember the bottom of a bar in Chicago. I was going off on the CEO about just like our brand and like we need to be like more edgy, dude. And like me, I'm probably sitting there and like feel like I'm in a suit, just like being so eloquent in the reality. I'm just like, you gotta be better brand.
Like, oh my god, I wish I could be in that CEO's shoes for like. I mean, yeah, we've all seen it. That was a really awesome moment. But I have to tell you, even though you hear things from people who are like, this needs to be more inclusive and the bro thing, but like, I have so many friends who are ladies who are like, oh my god, corporate bro cracks me up. Like everyone thinks it's hilarious. So I think people just need to be a little.
Well, they have wonderful taste and they sound like beautiful people.
They are fantastic human beings. They're like, wait, what? So many women also follow you. So I don't know. Put that in your cap or whatever what the term is. That sounds bad. I was like,
maybe cut this episode so you just like say that line first.
Yeah, many ladies follow you, Ross. Yeah,
and they're gonna be like, and then I can tell how that'll be misconstrued. I already know how that's getting misconstrued.
Yeah, we're both canceled after the episode.
Yeah.
Furries too. So okay, I also wanted to get furries. I also wanted to get your take on, you know, like intergenerational workforce stuff. Like I know you work a lot with Corporate Natalie, who is decidedly Gen Z. I remember listening to one of your other podcasts with you and Ben Gould, and you were talking about how she like taught you TikTok, which cracked me up because I too was like, what? Like I haven't even tried it yet. So, and I don't even know if it's worth it. So, but it sounds like it is because apparently that stuff works.
You just got to be there. You got to be there. If you're playing in the social media game, you got to be there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But tell me a little bit about like your take, maybe as Ross versus as corporate, like intergenerational workforce dynamics and how you work with like the boomers versus the Gen Zers and whatever the hell the next one is, which I literally don't know. So I don't know.
I actually don't know what it is. Briefly, I do have a hard stop in 4 minutes.
Okay.
I have to talk to the Wall Street Journal about creator stuff.
Oh my gosh! Oh, I'm so excited for you.
It's not as important as this, but they'll understand.
Yeah, you're right. Just be like, oh, it's on, but it gets late early. They're like, I'm sorry, but yeah.
They're like, holy shit, we didn't realize. We'll wait. We'll wait.
Yeah.
We'll wait.
One day, Ross. I have dreams. Anyway, so tell me about intergenerational workforce stuff.
For me, it's not terribly difficult. Like I think I am very I'm big into self depreciation. Like I that's that, and you play that either way. You play with the younger generation, like, sorry, I'm old. Like, I just don't get it. In the other generation, I'm like, yeah, y'all old. Like, you just don't get it, how it is to be so youthful. Like, and for me, I can like shit on myself. I'm like, sorry, I don't know as much as you guys do. Or like, and it ends up working all right. Like, you know, Natalie's like great in terms of the energy and like, you know, she's 25 or 26. She's super young. But she's got the motor, which is great. And I'm like, yeah, I can feed off this. And we have like very good banter. And I think like, you know, in a lot of ways, she is a female version of me. Like we just don't shut the fuck up. Like we are just the worst together. You know, it's just no one else can get a word in because we're just kind of going back and forth. But like with the older generation, it's interesting because a lot of my humor actually plays better there. Like the edge of your humor actually plays better with an older generation who is a little less like progressive, like a little less like ready to find what's wrong with what I'm saying. Like so many people, if you're going to go watch comedy, like watch with best intent, like understand that's like satire parody. Like this isn't the way the world, like this commentary on the world. Yeah. They watch comedy that way. A lot of Gen Z and like whatever, like we said is before that watches like ready to be upset. Like, but we try to figure out, like pick it apart.
They're ready to pounce. It's like, how do we get this next person? Like you say one word wrong and you're canceled. Yeah.
Right. And I'm like exaggerating a little bit. Like not everybody does that, but on social media, that's what happens a lot. You know, I got eviscerated for making fun of bicyclists recently. That I was perpetuating stereotypes of bicyclists in a story when I was talking shit about a bicyclist who didn't stop at a fucking stop sign. So like, that's where we're at.
Like we're a little soft, you know?
We're a little soft. Your words, they're the right words. I say it, but we're soft as fuck. Soft as fuck.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize the connotation of that. Wow. Okay. I edit that out too. No. Okay.
Keep
awesome.
It.
Yeah, I think we'll keep it. We just got to be real. So before you run off to the Wall Street Journal, is there anything that people don't ask you that you wish they would?
That they wish they asked. I think like people don't talk enough about, they like the grind it takes to kind of get to a point. Like for 7 years, I didn't make a single dollar doing this. And like, I really did do it because I enjoyed it. And it's a nights and weekends like project. And so many people give up on their passions and their projects on the side because like the reality is you can get caught up in the results of the work. But like, if you don't actually enjoy it, it's so cliche and lame, but like like I enjoy writing and I enjoy acting and I enjoy doing it, even if no one was watching it. That's how it all started. And so there's a lot of mental side of like content creation. Like I go to therapy, like I have to do it the same way I have to work out. Like if I don't, I'll be miserable. And that's just to manage like what I do for a living. That's just what it is. And so there's a lot of downside. People are like, oh, you must get so much free shit and like make so much money. And like, sure, but it's not without a cost. Like there's always a cost. And I think that's one of the things that gets overlooked a lot and like what it took to get there,
Totally.
So.
And you learn that stuff over time. You learn how you can cope with everyday realities of whatever it is you're doing. And that comes with age.
Right.
And experience.
Exactly.
Amazing. Ross, thank you so much. It was awesome to have you here. This is so much fun. And say what's up to the Wall Street Journal for me, will you?
I will. Thank you, Mo. I appreciate you. Till next time.
Take care. Till next time.